Hey, what up, guys? So coming to you this morning, we're going to do the last 2 weekend recaps. I wasn't able to last week because of my injury. I had a surgery last week, so I wasn't able to get to the October 5th recap. And, we just had October 12th happen. We had a couple cards on the 12th also. So about 5 fights in total. Hasn't been a lot, so I want to get into them and break them down. I'm going to start with the October 5th card on the Zone. Co-features saw Ivan Berianchik, former 140-pound junior welterweight champion. He returned from his first career loss and losing the world title to Josh Taylor back in May, when they fought in the semifinals of the World Boxing Super Series. He took on some kind of low-level veteran named Gabriel Bracero, dominated him. I think it was a 5th, 6th round TKO victory. I guess Bracero had never been knocked out. Berianchik's just an all-out comer, an entertaining fighter. He's one of those Russian guys you're going to want to check out every time he fights because he fights like a Mexican. He just comes straight forward. He brawls. He's not afraid to get hit and take shots. And, it's a good, strong performance. Looked good and came back with a win. So that's the first one down. We'll go to the main event that night now, which was Triple G Gennady Golovkin against Sergey Derevyanchenko for the vacant IBF middleweight championship of the world. Triple G earned a hard-fought 12-round, I believe it was a unanimous decision, in a very close fight. Personally, I did not score the fight because, to tell you the truth, I personally was looking at the fight like, hey, Triple G's going to end up taking over and knocking him out. So I was eating and kind of chilling and just enjoying boxing and just expecting the knockout to come, and it never came, and Derevyanchenko kept pressing. It was a very close fight from what I could tell. What I was watching, it was a very close fight, very good fight. Triple G was doing a lot of good things, but he was getting hit as well by some good shots. Derevyanchenko can't count that guy out. Very good fighter. He's definitely going to move up in the rankings following that performance, but Triple G, now a 2-time world champion. He's got another world title, so, we'll see what he does next. But Derevyanchenko really impressed me. It was a very good fight. If you guys get a chance, go back and watch this one from the 5th. You will not be disappointed. Fight of the year candidate right there. All right, let's get into October 12th action. We start with the ESPN Plus card that happened earlier in the day. Saw undefeated Josh Warrington, the IBF featherweight champion, which is 126 pounds. He made the next defense of his title against, I keep forgetting this nobody's name, but Sefeni Touche or something like that. Anyway, the guy's name is irrelevant because he was a nobody and Josh Warrington treated him as such, knocked him out in the second round, easy win. He's trying to land opponents. Most guys don't want to fight him right now for some reason at 126. Got a nice win. We'll see what I'll get into a what's next on him later, but good solid performance. He's still world champion. And then we'll get into the final card on the 12th, the DAZN card. 2 fights we're talking about. First, light heavyweight action. My number 4 light heavyweight in the world right now, undefeated WBA light heavyweight champion, Dimitri Bivol, stayed busy. Made, I believe it was the 5th or 6th defense of his world title as he took on little-known veteran Lenin Castillo. Dominated him over 12 rounds, 12 shutout rounds. He got a knockdown in the 5th or 6th round and then just kept pressing him. The thing about Bivol is, he's having trouble landing opponents because he is such a technician, such a talented technician. But, he doesn't, I think he's kind of quote-unquote boring because he dominates the fights with ease, but that's part of the reason is he's not getting the proper competition because they don't want to fight him. But he also doesn't pack a big punch, so it's kind of like that catch-22. He really should be fighting at 168, but he's a world champion at 175. I think he could compete with anybody at 175. He just doesn't pack the power. But he is a very good boxer. So I hope at some point somebody wants to roll the dice on him, one of the top 10 guys, and give him a shot because, for instance, Jean Pascal, former world champion, came in, took him on last year, and Bivol did the same thing to him. He dominated him over 12 rounds. Easy one-sided decision, but he can't seem to get anybody else interested. So it's kind of a shame. I really hope somebody signs on the dotted line for him next that will give him a run for his money and really test him. But we just got to wait and see what happens there. And then finally, the main event from October 12th was Oleksandr Usyk, the undefeated and now former undisputed cruiserweight champion, returned to action and took on and actually made his debut at heavyweight as he took in replacement opponent Chaz Witherspoon. He was supposed to take on Tyrone Spong, but Spong got hurt earlier in the week. Chaz Witherspoon filled in. I don't really think it was any different than probably what would have happened against Spong. Maybe it would have been a little more competitive. I have no idea because I never heard of Tyrone Spong. I just know he's younger than Chaz Witherspoon and was preparing for the fight. Usyk, he dominated the action, wore down Witherspoon, got a 7th round TKO win. It wasn't too big of a surprise. I don't know. I think the biggest test here was to see how well Usyk would take a heavyweight punch. He got hit a couple times by Witherspoon, but it didn't seem to bother him too badly. Really his test is going to be when he gets in there with one of the top dogs or when he faces a top 10 opponent. I don't really think facing a guy like Witherspoon did anything for him. It is going to get him into the top 10 at heavyweight because of his resume and what he's done, but, really we got to see what he's going to do going forward. But, yeah, he got the rounds in. It was good to see him back. He's very talented, and we'll see what goes on going forward for Oleksandr Usyk. So that's it, guys. That's the action from the last couple weeks. Keep paying attention. We still got more action coming up. A lot more action coming up. All right, that's it. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.